Welcome to episode 3 of our webcasts on business disruption. This episode's on operational risk. My name is Gordon Whitehead, Business Advisor at the Business Centre. For those of you who don't know the Business Centre, we're a not-for-profit based in Newcastle with 35 years history of helping small business in New South Wales. And this is why we decided to run a series of 5 live webcasts where we have invited 5 experts to provide you simple advice to help you navigate through a profound business disruption. Our 5 episodes in the first series are attuned to small business perspectives, deliberately practical and insightful. Today's episode is focusing on operational risk, especially around workforce. Today's guest is Joanne Fink, HR Business Planner at Perform HR. Joanna has over 15 years experience in HR, working with large international companies. Perform HR is a great Newcastle story. Perform HR is a leading provider of outsourced HR services to small, medium and large businesses with offices around Australia. However, today we have noticed that some people are experiencing difficulties with internet speeds. If your internet cuts off during our webcast, no problem. We're still rolling and this episode will be made available on YouTube. If you have any questions during our webcast, please use YouTube's live comments and we'll try and answer some of those questions either during the webcast or at the end. So, time for Joanna. Hello.
Hi, Gordon.
How are you?
Well, thank you today.
Rightio, let's kick off. Big disruption, coronavirus, we've had bushfires before. So how is Perform HR coping with this situation?
Yeah, Gordon, I think Perform HR, like anyone, is certainly impacted by the current situation. I think the business is needing to respond quickly in an environment of uncertainty for our clients. And yeah, look, on a personal level, I'm impacted, probably about to start homeschooling small children in the coming months ahead. So yeah, like everyone, impacted.
So you're remote working at the moment?
Yes, I am. And probably for the last few weeks I haven't visited Sydney. And yeah, our office has gone complete 100% work from home as of Monday. A few client sites need to happen, but we're dealing with them as need be.
So at this point you must be really busy with clients actually calling you. So give us a sense of what's the main pain points that's coming through to you at the moment from clients.
Yeah, look, I think clients, business owners are really just having to respond really quickly in an environment that's just completely unclear. When timelines are uncertain and leaders in those business need to make really quick decisions. So for me, that's what I see one of the most challenging aspects of this, really rapid decisions and rapid response around that.
All right. First I want to touch on is, how, from your expression, how does a business owner prepare for disruption? Yeah, we got coronavirus at the moment, and I think it's a big shock for some people. But we've had bushfires, we've had drought. So how does a business, what are the key areas does a business owner have to start thinking about for planning?
Yeah, look, I think, in my professional world, I think we call it disruption planning. I think you clearly need to identify your risks. You need to gather all relevant information. So I think in the current climate, you need to make sure you're really listening and in tune to government announcements. You obviously need to know when the time is right and you're ready to press go on decisions and responding to that. So yeah, look, the planning really needs to be that you know your options.
All right. Now, I think business owners really are overwhelmed. Do you know if there's any tools or resources out there that business owners can actually look and use to actually help them during this time for planning purposes?
Yeah, look, for me, there's not so much tools. I think it's just going to the relevant information spots. And I think in this current space for me in HR and employee relations, I think it's going to Fair Work to gather your information, identify what risks might be faced by your business. And look, it could be as simple as putting it into a spreadsheet right now.
So if you're, again, industries are different, you know, we got different issues and all that. So what I get from that is if you're in advanced manufacturing, you go to industry groups, government bodies that deal with you. They might have more relevant information on helping you.
Absolutely. So relevant institutional organisations that support you, and Fair Work and government websites.
Yeah, because I think that's one of the biggest problems I have at the moment is there's so many government agencies and you have to monitor them all. And even this morning, local government starting to, from like Newcastle City Council, is starting to produce responses from an economic perspective to help businesses. So it's going to be a very difficult time.
Yeah, and look, I think my comment around that is it's the complexities of 3 levels of government, but I think for the purposes of my work, we are going to federal government for information at this point of time. They're the ones who are providing the directive on how society needs to respond.
Right, the next topic here I'm going to want to explore is that from an operational point of view is if a business has to stand down.
Sure.
So what options do employers have to protect jobs during a downturn like this?
Sure. So employees really need to think clearly and even get creative in this space. So a downturn could potentially look like standing people down. Could also look like allowing employees to access their annual leave entitlements, consider half pay reduction in hours. So,
can you go back to stand down? Because that's in a way a new term for me. Is that because when I heard that, we heard a couple of works last week with our first expert. It was something new, and I didn't really understand what was a stand down, or is it are you being retrenched? You know.
No, look, I think it's and Michelle explained it really well the other day. But I think it's a term in the current climate that means you step away from the business for an uncertain period of time, and you do that in an attempt to support your business. Yeah.
So you can go and ask your employees to take annual leave.
Sure.
What about if there's no negotiations with the employees? We starting to hear that employees are starting to ask for reduction of wages during the period. Is that something?
Yeah, again, that's a creative way to obviously get through the months ahead. So it may be speaking with employees about reducing their hours, stand down, step away, and I guess employees supporting the business to work through
Is there any issues, or can you see any issues if employees are on awards?
Yeah, so you're still going to need to refer to your relevant awards. So I would suggest business owners need to refer back to awards and refer back to employee contracts as well, and that can obviously pose a series of challenges, and my advice would be to get some expert advice around specific challenges that business owners may have. Yeah.
If an employer is unsure about the legality, where should they go in relationship to playing around with the awards and trying to messing with contracts?
Yeah, look, I think for business owners, your first port of call would be the Fair Work website, but I think anything specific you may want to tap into serious scenarios. You may want to tap into an employment lawyer. In other cases, you may want to tap into HR professionals or employee relations professionals in that space.
Okay. Is there, looking forwards, is there a reputational issue that, I don't want to go too deep because we got another episode on reputation, but
Sure.
if someone does this badly, is there a reputational risk in future because the employees are talent?
Sure.
If you treat them badly, is there any reputation problems?
Yeah, I think the reality of having so much to consider at the moment, I think that's a fair enough reality that, you need to be considerate with your decisions. There's always a risk around reputation, but I think there's steps that business owners can take about, communicating, keeping your employees engaged, and not just providing a solution, but also listening to your employees so your employees have the opportunity to feel heard.
Yeah.
And I think that is a risk that may mitigate reputational risk down the track.
Because I know you hear the news, especially around the airlines, have done thousands and thousands of employees.
Yep.
Because in the future, you're going to have to start recruiting again.
Yeah.
So if you have, unfortunately, laid off, what is the issue of recruiting talent that may be able to help you in the future? Do you see that as an issue?
Yeah, look, I think I still think there'll be consideration given around the current climate. So small, large businesses are making rapid response decisions to protect their business. So, look, I think consideration will be given that we're in a climate of complete uncertainty.
Now, we're looking at the business now, but from an employee's point of view, it's an uncertain time. How do you see, or can we explore how employers actually support employees at this time? I think we may have touched on a few things, but it is uncertainty. Employees have got bills to pay.
Yep.
Do you see any strategies around that?
Yeah, look, I think employees right now really need leadership, and leadership might look like leaders, business owners making really quick decisions. Employees need to feel safe in the current space, and it's up to the employee or the business owner to forge a path for employees.
Yeah. So I don't want to get too political. There's a lot of misinformation out there.
Sure.
And to have that clarity around the direction is, I believe, is gives some heart for the employee to see there's actually a future. Yeah,
and to my comment earlier about, I'm talking to clients about not just, asking employees, business owners shouldn't just provide solutions, they should engage with their employees, talk to them, see what their employees are willing to offer, what they're willing to do. I know my own circumstances, I more than likely will need to step away from work in some capacity, as I may be homeschooling 2 children. So my case might be that I need to reduce my own hours.
Yeah, so employees to be more flexible in that?
Flexible, creative, understanding, acknowledge, and your employees are your best asset. Do the best job you can to find ways to ensure that you can continue on the journey once we get through these difficult months. Yeah.
Have you heard of any great examples, or you can share with examples of how companies doing really well with with that about the employment side?
Yeah, so I think, for those who are still in the workplace, I think it's about keeping employees safe and keeping a distance in the workplace. So making sure you're supporting your employees no matter where they're working. For those working at home, it's obviously finding ways to communicate, finding ways to stay connected. Look, there's probably loads of examples, and I know even within Perform HR, we are finding different ways we're in different locations across Australia, and for some of us, we in recent weeks have had offices to go to, and now all of a sudden it's 100% work from home. It's a challenge for some of us.
Yeah. Do you see employers helping employees if they do have to lay them off, or to help them to give them some clarity in how to get Centrelink payments? Because I think that's a big one, is even if it's a temporary, especially for those who are contractors or casual.
Yeah, so I think, again, we're all feeling this pain. This isn't just about one business, certain jobs. This is everybody's livelihood at the moment. So I would urge business owners, where they can, support employees, find the right strategies to support your employees, because one day you may well want them back if your business is currently downsizing.
All right, cool. Now I want to talk about a topic which is there could be quite a few questions out there in relationship is home working. Now we've at the Business Centre, we're doing a lot of home working, and reasonable. This is new to most of us, not just the fact that we have done it in the past, but this is nearly permanent for us. So we're finding all the pain points, if you know what I mean.
Sure.
How do you work effectively from remotely?
Look, I think there's plenty of business owners that have had to shift almost immediately to work from home, Gordon. I think for some business owners that's not a comfortable space, it's just become a direction. I think there needs to be a level of acceptance that working from home is an adjustment. And I think there's lots of challenges for many of my clients. Particularly in the past, there's been this challenge around trust. Do I trust that work will be done from home? But in the current climate, they're forced to, if they can, send their employees home, the safest space to be. And if they can work from home, you've got to learn to adjust to trust them and support them through isolation, staying connected.
Yeah, on that maintain performance, I think that's. Have you got any strategies or how to do it? Because it sounds like sometimes it could come across as Big Brother. Yeah,
look, I think the harsh reality is I'm talking to clients about you do have to accept that performance will look different right now working from home if you've shifted to that. I think there's distractions in the home, there's adjustments, but I think if employees be considerate about, daily check-ins, staying focused, setting expectations, that performance will come when people feel confident.
Cool. Now I've got a question. Ruby asked, do you have to pay employees to set up their work from home?
Yeah, so I'd suggest to Ruby that if there are employment contracts in place, that she would need to check any specifics in employment contracts that had been outlined, but for the most part, no, you don't. I think working in the current climate, working from home, is a setup that the employee will have to adjust to. But I know of lots of clients who can afford to support their employees working from home, and I know examples in Sydney where they've given them a $500 allowance to make sure their setups are okay. But I think for the most part, you just need to make sure that business owners' responsibility right now is to make sure they stay connected.
Yeah. Well, at the moment, I'm set up my own little work office in my youngest son's bedroom. This is causing problems. And I got my little Microsoft tablet there. And now I've got to go. I'm missing my big screens, as you see.
Yes.
So I'm going to have to take one of my screens home with us if Steve will allow it. Is that allowed, Steve? Yep. Okay. Gets a big thumbs up. So it's a bit of a difficult time to set up those work environments.
The ergonomics. Yesterday I sat at the dining room table, and by the end of the day, it wasn't probably the best chair to sit in for me. So I think employers have a responsibility to put in place working from home policies and checklist to make sure the ergonomics in the home space is safe. And yet employees obviously need to be considerate about adjusting to home life and the impact that has and the focus time that's needed in work.
So you recommend that employers has to have some form of policy or build a policy around home working or remote working?
Yeah, I would suggest those businesses that are currently impacted, that are working from home, definitely get a working from home policy in place. That sets expectation and sets out a clear guideline and a checklist.
All right, cool.
Yep.
Now we have another question. Leslie asks, is this a good time to have your staff do training? Is the strategy that some people is some businesses starting to do that, to retrain their staff, improvements, but also looking at the way they conduct businesses?
Yeah, look, absolutely. I think if the business owners can use this time, even as a balance between learning to work from home, what's meant to be productive work time and balancing maybe some training in the middle of the day. Obviously it needs to be online or virtual training in that sense, but it could be a great time. It's a huge uncertain time for people in general, and are they going to be high performance and productive? We can set expectations, but training may be a great option there.
Do you know of any actually work from home training? Because that would be interesting.
There you go. I'll work on that this evening.
Know. Can I copyright that or do something? Steve, can we do another webcast on? Because I find it, because we use a range of communication channels.
Yep.
From Asana for project management to Slack for general communications and those.
Yep.
And text as well as email. That can get really trying to be productive when you're trying to monitor so many channels communicate. Yeah,
look, I was part of a webinar last night that we're gonna all of a sudden hit this technology overload of working from home. So I think I'm not aware that there's anything out there, but I think it's a very considered and great question, Gordon, because it's going to be a challenging time ahead if this goes on for months.
Well, it's one of the things we noticed that even doing the set up the webcam and stand with our remote working with clients using Zoom, some of them, first the question is, what is Zoom?
Absolutely.
And some of our client base are based in rural and regional areas, even in some parts of Newcastle. It's very hard to get the internet.
Sure.
So, training basic on technology.
Yeah, and I think business owners need to be considerate that if their employees are now working from home, they may not know all this, or they're forced to all of a sudden understand how to use this technology, and that itself takes time, even for those seasoned in using it in the workplace. So and obviously internet speed, and I know for me personally at the moment working from home it's a bit challenging. I seem to dial in and dial out at times, and networks just aren't coping. So I think business owners need to understand and adjust to that.
Do you, and there's a question from Stefan, I think it's this area. Do you know any great examples of people working from home, other than the Business Centre and Perform HR, of course, in remote working? Or?
Yeah, look,
I'm not putting you on the spot.
And I think that I've got a lot of clients who have adjusted really quickly and who have adjusted really well and who are responding really well. I think there's plenty of challenges, even if they are responding well. I think for me, if the fundamentals are there, that the business owners or the business leaders care and check in and stay connected, it can be as simple as that.
Yeah. Do you see one of the things, and the good thing of working at the Business Centre is about the culture?
Sure.
Do you see any risk in relationship to the culture being broken down with remote working, and especially in there feeling isolated?
Sure. Look, I think it's fair to say your culture will take a hit and it will need to adjust. So I think if business owners feel comfortable enough that they can be agile and adjust, that the culture is going to look different. It's going to look different working virtually, but it's those simple pieces of staying connected, making it regular, being creative. I know at Perform, my go-to after Tuesday, after starting working from home, was to send a funny photo about working from home and what that looked like with a family in the background. So yeah, I think it's just making it real.
Yeah, we have a morning gathering around about 9:30.
Sure.
We use Zoom, and some people, not saying anyone, Jess, puts different hats on.
Yeah.
Cindy, another one, changes the background, so every morning she's in a different location.
Yep.
But it was a bit strange this morning, what her background was. So we try to do that. But do you think there's an issue that, especially around mental health, it could be a risk, and it's how the employer looks and how to monitor? Do you see they've got to really be on top of that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think, for me, not only working at Perform, but with all my clients, there's a piece in this that if you can use video, face-to-face conferencing, talk to people, using the technology rather than just making it a phone call or just making it without the visual, because you can often get a sense of how someone's feeling, you can sense anxieties, and I think you can, or for me, I think I know when people aren't talking within my team that they may need me to reach out separately to support. But Gordon, I wanted to share with you the Perform HR team. We are having team check-ins once a week. We have been doing this for the last few weeks. We've been having them at 8 o'clock at night when most of us have put our kids to bed, and we call it pajamas and wine. So it's not about talking about day-to-day business and what we've been doing. It's about a check-in on how you're going. And I think for some of us who have lots of juggles, that time probably works quite well for us, and it's a way to stay connected. So we are actually doing it in our pajamas. So I hope they're okay that I've just shared what we're doing.
I don't want to go to the pajama level.
Sure.
Especially with mine, to get them moth-eaten out.
Sure.
So that's the flexibility. You go on the flexibility of hours because traditionally 9 to 5.
Sure.
Is this going to change the way we work in the future? Not just now, but it's hours of work, how we communicate. Do we need a space?
Yeah, look, I think that's going to be one of the challenges that we are going to be working from home. How do I switch back on when my kids get home from school? How do I then make it the family home again? So there's lots of challenges in that space, and in the future we may well be working differently. But I think for myself and Perform at the moment, we're just responding to client needs. So, I was up last night till 11 o'clock supporting what, as a matter of urgency, needed to be supported. So. All
right. So we've got a question from Norman. Does Joanna have any templates for working from home? Do you have any resources or no? Or
Absolutely. So obviously Perform HR have policies and procedures in place and suites, but as far as Norman's question, if he needed to source that urgently, I know there's plenty of templates online. So
all he has to do is go to Dr. Google and...
Absolutely, but I guess if you want to engage an outsourced provider, or you want to, I believe even Fair Work at the moment might even have some templates.
Oh, right,
so,
cool.
Yeah, I think that the society is shifting, that we're shifting, and we need to support our workers.
Well, let's say if Norm comes in and gives us an email, we may be able to see if we point to him in the right direction.
Absolutely.
Jack asks, are there issues with workplace health and safety at home? In what really, I think there's a lot of big can of worms here. Yeah. But what are the key areas?
Yeah, so I did mention along with a working from home policy, you would also have a checklist, and on that checklist would be points like OH&S, ensuring that you had the right, even anything from you had the right home insurance content to work from home, as well as, simple, the ergonomics and the setups, understanding it's important to have break times,
So you said, do you know if our insurance changes if we have a remote workforce?
Yeah, look, I think working from home checklists for me, for many years, have said you need to insure or be clear with your insurance company. I think in the current climate, I can't speak, but I think in the current climate, that question can be answered by an expert. But yeah, I think, you know, there's a responsibility to understand that, yeah, if all of a sudden you're working from home.
All right, 'cause there's another good question from Sarah. What happens if someone gets sick when they are working from home or injures themselves while working at home? I would say go for the sick first, because there's a different dynamic. If you're sick, this is the same process.
Yeah, sick or get injured, I think you definitely need to advise your supervisor or leader immediately. And you obviously need to fill out if there's an incident, you'd need to fill out an incident report form, which you know, hopefully most organisations have, and if they don't, again, there's tools they probably should have, incident report forms, but yeah, certainly that would be a consideration. It'd be difficult now
with some, especially with a health service around getting a doctor's note. Have you heard of any?
Absolutely, there's lots of challenges in that space, I think. Yeah, I mean, we could almost have another whole session on that, as far as all of a sudden, if you feel like you're sick, you're working from home, how do you access medical appointments? Right,
we're going to wind up, but
sure.
We always ask our experts your top 5 tips for employers to start thinking out. If you can.
Sure.
Shoot off yours.
No worries. So my first tip is, you know, business owners need to consider having a business continuity plan. So right now, that doesn't have to be complex. It just has to be understand your current state in your business.
All right. Cool.
Yeah. How are you going to maintain the business, and obviously how are you going to get through the coming months.
Yep.
That's it.
Cool. Right. Okay. I want to say thank you very much to Joanna for being here. Now, first, thanks to you and Perform HR. If you want to contact Joanna, just send us an email to reception@thebusinesscentre.com.au, or go to Perform HR's website and get the details there. I just want to say that these webcasts are supported by New South Wales Government under the Business Connect program. So if you're under any employer suffering any stress or want to have a chat, just again email reception@thebusinesscentre.com.au. You get 4 free advisory sessions. We will be doing it on Zoom. This is the 3rd out of our series of 5. So next week we're doing market risk on Tuesday the 31st of March, and followed by reputational risk on Thursday the 2nd of April. Just either go to our website or our YouTube channel or LinkedIn to keep up to date. Please register on Eventbrite. Please, it allows us to understand who you are and our numbers. Our series will be made available online on the Business Centre's YouTube channel, so you can come back to it. We'll be speaking to Joanna straight after this, and we're recording a few of the comments and questions you asked that we didn't have time to put on our webcasts. And this leads up to me to say thank you very much to Jonathan, who from Fordtronic, for providing all the equipment. Please call them. This is the way of the future, doing live streaming, doing webcasts. They're the people to contact. So thank you for joining me and the Business Centre. My name's Gordon Whitehead. Thank you very much.